Welcome to the Privacy Report. Today we're diving into a really crucial conversation. It's about that trade-off we're all making more and more often. Giving up a piece of your permanent physical identity for, a bit of convenience. We're talking about those pop-ups. The ones asking for a scan of your ID or your face to unlock a feature or maybe recover your account. Seems simple, but that data, your face print, your biometrics, it's completely different from anything else you've ever typed online. So our mission today is to really pull back the curtain. What happens after you hit upload? And why does this data carry a risk that, well, a password just never could?
It's a really important topic because the landscape is shifting so fast. These requests, they aren't rare anymore. They're becoming the default, and it's always framed as, security or compliance.
Exactly. And before we get into all the details, just a reminder that you can subscribe to our email newsletter for more resources and checklists over at theprivacyreport.net.
Okay, so let's start with their side of it. Why do these platforms suddenly want this incredibly sensitive data? They usually say it's for fighting bots or age verification laws or account recovery.
And, well, there's some partial truth to all of that.
Yeah.
The operational needs are real, but you have to look past the marketing language. The unstated goal here is to just massively expand their data collection. They're turning your anonymous account into a physically verified person.
A person they can then cross-reference with everything else they know about you.
Precisely. And that verified status is incredibly valuable for them, for ads, for trust scores, for, whatever comes next. To really get the gravity of this, you just have to look at the history. I mean, look at Meta. They faced that massive $650 million settlement under the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act. BIP.
Right, BIPA. That law is so critical here. It really is, because it forces companies to get explicit written consent before collecting biometrics. That's a much higher bar than just clicking agree on a terms of service you haven't read. And that huge penalty, it just shows you how seriously regulators take this stuff.
That context is everything. So let's drill down on why. Why is this data so different? I mean, I can change my credit card, I can get a new email address. What makes a face scan so untouchable?
It's two words, really. Irreplaceable and immutable. Your biometrics, your face, your fingerprints, your voice, it's a permanent part of you. If a password gets breached, okay, it's a pain, but you change it. If your face print is stolen or misused, you can't reset it. You can't get a new one.
It's compromised forever.
Forever.
And that's where the risk gets, really scary, right? It's not just some abstract data loss. What's the worst case here? Are we talking about identity theft?
We're talking about something, potentially much worse. Synthetic identity fraud. Stolen biometrics are basically the raw material for creating perfect digital clones of you. Think deepfakes that can pass facial recognition checks. It's not like losing a key to your house.
It's more like losing the deed.
The deed, the blueprints, and your fingerprint to get in the front door all at once. The risk just lasts your entire lifetime.
Okay, so if the data itself is permanent, that brings us to the next big problem, which is what the companies do with it. This idea of function creep.
Function creep is, I think, the most insidious threat here. It's so subtle. It's when a platform takes data you gave them for one specific reason, and then over time, they just slowly, steadily broaden how they use it, far beyond what you originally agreed to.
So you upload your ID today to prove you're over 18.
And then 3 years from now, there's a quiet update to the terms of service, and suddenly that scan is being used for something else entirely.
Like what kind of secondary uses are we seeing?
Oh, all sorts. That face print could be used to train their own AI and moderation systems, or it could be used for behavioral profiling, trying to, infer things about your personality or what you might buy based on your physical features.
Hold on, let's challenge that for a second.
Yeah.
How can the shape of my face tell an advertiser what I want to buy?
hmm
That sounds a little bit like high-tech phrenology.
It sounds like it, and it's dangerously close. It's not about your cheekbones predicting you like a certain car. It's about combining those biometric markers with your active behavior on the platform. So they might correlate certain facial structures with higher engagement on, say, video ads versus image ads. It's this huge feedback loop to optimize advertising, and it's all possible because they have your absolute physical identity tied to your clicking finger.
And the risk doesn't just stop with the big platform itself, does it? The big fear is who they share it with. Are they actually selling my face scan?
Well, they're not usually selling your face print like a product on a shelf. It's more complex. They exchange the aggregated data, the metadata, and those derived behavioral profiles we just talked about. Those get passed to analytics firms, advertisers, and critically, a whole network of third-party vendors.
The ones hidden in the fine print.
Exactly. The ones buried under vague, trusted partner clauses that nobody ever reads. And without strong global laws, I mean, GDPR and BIPA are still the exception. Users are consenting to this huge web of data exchange without even realizing it.
So let's talk about those third parties, the verification firms. If a huge social media company is outsourcing the actual ID check to a smaller, maybe less secure company, are they the weakest link in this chain?
They can be. They absolutely add this whole other layer of risk that's almost invisible to the user. These identity-proofing vendors, they often operate with much less public scrutiny, so the flow is simple for you. Upload, vendor processes, platform stores, and resources, but the risk just multiplied.
And what are those risks specifically?
Two big ones. First is data retention. These companies often keep your ID file for audit purposes. In plain English, that means they're holding onto your government ID for years, just in case a regulator asks for proof. It's a shield for them, not a protection for you.
And the second risk?
Breach exposure. A database full of millions of permanent biometric identifiers. That's the jackpot for hackers. A password database might be worth a few dollars per record on the dark web. A biometric database is priceless. It's one of the highest value ransomware targets in the world.
Okay, so let's make this actionable for someone listening right now.
Yeah.
They're staring at that prompt, asking for their driver's license. What should they do? What's the checklist?
It's a four-step defense strategy. First, and this is the most important, check if it's actually mandatory. A lot of these requirements just unlock some bonus feature you probably don't need.
Okay, so first, see if you can just say no. What's step 2?
Step 2 is to dig into the privacy policy. And don't just read the general one. You have to find the specific section on biometrics and data retention. That's where the real details are.
And step 3?
Research the third-party vendor. If they name the company doing the ID check, look them up. Have they had breaches before? What's their reputation? You're basically having to vet a company you never even knew you were dealing with.
Right. And the last step?
Finally, look for alternatives. Can you use security questions? Email. An authenticator app. Always choose the less invasive method if it's available.
That's so important, especially now with all this pressure for age verification. Is that push from governments kind of forcing biometrics on us as the default?
Unfortunately, yes, that's the direction things are going. As governments demand higher certainty on age, companies just default to ID scans because it's easy for them. And more importantly, it gets them that high-value data they want for their other business models.
So they bypass less invasive methods because the ID scan serves two purposes for them.
Exactly. And don't forget that final check on retention. Your right to get that data deleted is, it's pretty much a geographical lottery. Unless you live somewhere like Illinois or under GDPR, they can often argue they need to keep it forever.
So the main takeaway here is just how permanent this all is. The data, the risks, the potential for function creep in this murky world of third-party sharing. It really is on us as users to just stop and think before we upload.
It really is. And maybe a final thought to leave everyone with is this. Given how few laws around the world can truly protect this data or guarantee it gets deleted, you have to ask yourself, how much of your permanent, irreplaceable identity are you willing to trust to a company whose entire business model is based on finding new ways to use your data?
It's a calculation that we're all going to be making more and more. Thank you for tuning into the Privacy Report. And be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into securing your digital life. This episode was made with the assistance of AI.